Well, it's about 2 weeks before we finally drop out of society, fully commit to this. This is probably going to be my last video until after that. I just wanted to get one last video in before that time. So far, I'm come to terms with it. I'm doing okay. It's starting to accept it. It doesn't really freak me out anymore like it did sometimes. I may get caught right away. I mean, I could basically be dead in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know. It's all up to chance at this point. So we're almost getting to the bunker site. Again, I've never been here before, so fingers crossed we can actually get to it and find it. But again, as you can tell, it is incredibly steep. Do you see it? Oh, no way. Okay, I think we might have found it, guys. Hold on. Hey everyone, welcome to a new video. My name is Harmon. Today I'm in a town called North Bend, Washington, and I'm here checking out probably one of the most bizarre and craziest cases that I think I've ever found. Today's video is all about a man by the name of Peter Keller, who ended up murdering his entire family and then making and building an underground bunker in the woods. So we're gonna go down the street to where the house was where he killed his family, and then we're gonna actually hike up into the mountains. So we're gonna do all that for you and then tell you guys this crazy story along the way. So you're not gonna wanna miss this one. Let's go check it out. So before we actually get to the house where he murdered his family, and before we actually hike up into the mountains to find his bunker site, another important piece of the puzzle is the fact that Peter actually parked his car here. Again, this is the North Bend Outlet Factory Mall. And he parked his car basically where my car is. Police found it right about there. And so, in other words, Peter parked his car here for one last time before he went up into the mountains to hide in his bunker. But what's interesting is normally we've kind of dug into this case pretty deep, and we found that Peter actually would normally park his car 1.5 miles or 2 miles on the actual trailhead, which is over that direction. And so for some reason he decided to park his car here in the outlet mall, and so police were able to recognize his car and find it way more quickly as compared to if he ended up parking it at his normal spot, again over there. So pretty interesting. So anyway, we're gonna head over to the house now. So maybe all right, so we're actually walking right now to where Peter Keller's house was and where he murdered his wife and his daughter. Again, his wife's name was Lynette, and she was 41. Peter was 41 as well, and his daughter was Kayleen, and some articles say that she was 18, and some articles say she was 19. So again, you know, take that with a grain of salt. But again, the address here is 47227 Southeast 159th Street. Again, it's in North Bend, Washington. So the date of this terrible event that Peter murdered his family on was April 22nd, 2012. And again, some articles mentioned that it was the 23rd of April. And so we're thinking that it's most likely that he killed them potentially the night of the 22nd, maybe like 10 or 11 p.m. or even maybe midnight on the 22nd into the 23rd.
Peter shot and killed his wife Lynette and shot and killed his daughter Kayleen by shooting both of them in the head. And then to destroy the evidence and pictures that he had, he attempted to light the house on fire. He had 7 canisters of gas that he kind of spread around the house, and he just let the whole house go up in flames. But the neighbors actually saw the house on fire, and they called for the fire department to show up. So the house actually didn't burn down all the way at all. It only burned maybe a small section of it. And so that is why police, when they came and went inside the house, that's when they found Peter's pictures that he took of the bunker he built. And remember, the bunker is where he was trying to hide out at. And so police saw the pictures he took of the bunker, and they were able to take those and match them up with the surrounding mountainside. And that is how they were able to finally kind of zone in and find him up in the mountains. All right, guys, so we just made it onto one of the logging roads, kind of like a former trail or trailhead, so to speak. And we're making our way up to the bunker now. Now, on Peter Keller's last day, he most likely took this same route that we are right now. As again, as I mentioned, his car was found in the parking lot down at the Outland Mall. And so he most likely took this same route all the way up to the bunker. But I will say that most of the time, from what we've been reading, he most likely did not take this route very often. In fact, he probably didn't take this route very much at all, mainly because, again, if he parked his car in the parking lot, most people would see his car and, of course, call the police because they recognized it. This week actually marks the 14th anniversary of when he killed his family. Again, is April 2012. And so again, that also kind of brings about a lot of different, emotions and thoughts of like what he did and why. So as I mentioned to you guys at the house, when police went inside, they of course found all the evidence and photos that were inside Peter's safe. He of course tried to burn it up, but it didn't work. So some of the photos they found were of course ones of his bunker. And one particular photo they found was literally of these exact power lines that were next to. And they were able to match up these power lines and able to pinpoint exactly where his bunker was. So in other words, if it wasn't for those photos, they wouldn't have found his bunker. It's also like a cool first-person view. This video actually reminds me of the gingerbread cabin series that I did. And if you're new around here and you haven't really seen that series before, essentially it was about a guy who built a cabin, not a bunker, but a cabin in the woods. Ironically, maybe like 5 to 10 miles away from here, not too far. And he was convicted of crimes against children, and he built a cabin to kind of get away and hide away from the police. So again, this video kind of reminds me of that, mainly because it's like same area and also like similar terrain in the woods. And so anyway, I'll leave a link to that if you want to see it. All right, guys, so we made it about maybe halfway or so to the bunker site, and when we're on our way, we were thinking of how the fact that Peter, of course, was carrying, you know, his heavy bags, but when he did that, he was walking on the other trailhead, which was more of a downward trajectory. Right now, we've been kind of going up and up and up. Either way, it's insanely steep. It's a very rugged terrain. So April 22nd, that is when he set the fire in the house and when he killed his wife and daughter. So that was Sunday the 22nd. So you fast forward till Friday the 27th, they had dozens of SWAT officers in the area trying to find him. They had a couple officers even posed as hikers as they were really trying to scout and try to locate his bunker. And so when they kind of all got together, they noticed some smoke coming from the area, and so they were able to finally like pinpoint exactly where his bunker was. And so Friday the 27th into the 28th, about 22 hours of them literally putting bombs and trying to get into the bunker any way they could. And eventually Peter killed himself. So obviously you can probably hear the creek in the background down below. So we're almost getting to the bunker site. Again, I've never been here before, so fingers crossed we can actually get to it and find it. But again, as you can tell, it is incredibly steep, and trying to carry a camera with one hand is not easy. All right, guys, so literally after a lot of hiking, we found the bunker. I'm kind of shocked because we weren't sure if we were gonna find it. I mean, obviously it's a lot of woods around here. It's almost impossible to find. We found it though, so let's go check it out. All right, guys, so this is the actual bunker site. Again, it may not look like much on camera because again, after Peter killed himself, about a month later, some DNR workers came and they filled this all in. So he built like a 2 or 3 story tall bunker. These logs here, they're not just fallen here by random chance. Like you can tell, this was cut by a saw. So in other words, these were here. Whether Peter used these specific logs or not, that's the question. Now we're gonna probably dig around a little bit. There, you can kind of get underneath some of these logs. So we're gonna dig around and try to see if we can find any other random evidence left behind. At the time, Peter had like 13 guns. He had propane, gas, canned food, and again, he built like a fireplace or like a little fire pit of sorts inside with a smokestack. So lots of things he had here. They of course probably took most of it or all of it out, but we're gonna poke around and see if we can find anything. All right, guys, so now we're just basically on top of the bunker now. And I was just rooting around trying to see if we could find literally anything left behind. And lo and behold, we did find something. It looks like an old like tarp that Peter had. Again, this was 14 years ago. This has been here ever since then. And again, during the time frame when this all happened, it was, again, April 2012. It was torrential downpour. It was raining a ton. So he definitely had a tarp like this that he brought to the bunker to, of course, cover it before he finished building it. So we literally found Peter's tarp that he had 14 years ago. Like, this is unbelievable. And obviously it's been buried because the DNR workers buried this whole bunker. So this literally was here and it was underneath. So this was his tarp. So part of this story involves Peter actually making like homemade videos. He made about 8 or 9 videos himself, mainly here on the bunker site. And it's kind of bizarre to think, like, he started making these videos. This was before YouTube was really a thing. Again, it was early 2012. So he started making these videos, I think to showcase to the world like what he was going to do and why. These videos were of course found on like a hard drive or thumb drive in the house. So it never actually got broadcasted to the world until someone in the police department, you know, broadcasted it out online.
At this point, I don't know what's going to happen. I may get caught right away. Basically, if I get caught, I'm just going to shoot myself. So, I mean, I could basically be dead in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I don't know. It's all up to chance at this point. So, I don't think anyone knows where I'm at. But if they put it together, who knows? At this point, I have to take that chance. So it's just going to be a point of, you know, go as far as I can. I do have my escape, and that's death. I can always shoot myself, and I'm okay with that. So I'm getting to the point where just trying to live and pay bills and live as a civilian and go to work. It just freaks me out. It's actually more comfortable for me to think about living out here, robbing banks, pharmacies, just taking what I want for as long as I can. At least it'll be exciting. It won't be boring. And I don't have to worry about Lynette or Kayleen. And everything will be taken care of. It'll just be me.
The police took some photos here on the bunker site, and again, you could match it up exactly with this tree stump. But this creek down here has dramatically changed in 14 years, namely because about 2 months ago or so, there was a 100-year flood that came through this area. And so this creek used to be a small, peaceful little stream, but it has changed dramatically. It has turned, again, this whole landscape and widened the creek by about 30 or 40 feet. So it has changed this area dramatically. So again, if this looks any different than, you know, 14 years ago from Peter's videos, I mean, that's why. You know, it's not like we faked this and went to a different site or something. Like, it's just changed dramatically because of that flooding. All right, you guys, it's been a long day. We showed you the bunker, showed you the house, and told you, again, this super sad and crazy story. We're really tired, we're gonna get out of here. But before we do, of course, we wanted to give our condolences to Lynette, the wife, Kayleen, the daughter, and of course, their extended family. And if you're feeling depressed or you're feeling like life is not what you wanted, just make sure you talk to someone. Who knows if Peter was able to talk to someone, maybe that would change his mind. Again, it's all hindsight, who knows. But if you're feeling that way, I think it's smart to talk to someone and get some help. So we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for watching.